YouTube, Rook here from Rook Geek Goodness, my little channel in the web for all things geeky and cool. In this video, guys, we have another action figure review. We're going to be looking at the Star Wars Black Series 6-inch scale Captain Rex figure that previewed at Hascon 2017. Now, Hascon 2017 was a new convention sponsored by Hasbro. I believe it was in New Jersey, and it was between, I think, the middle of September-ish of this year. This figure actually debuted there. It actually went on sale for limited quantity at HasbroToyStore.com. This thing sold out rather fast, between 30 and 45 minutes. It was limited quantity of 2 per household, had a price point of $24.95. Now, just a little bit of backstory about Captain Rex if you're not familiar with the character. He actually was created by George Lucas in 2008 for the Clone Wars animated film. He actually survived in canon all the way up to the Rebels TV show where he re-debuted in 2014. Now, he was part of a very, very big, well-known sort of clone army, which was the 501 or 501st Clone Battalion. He was the leader of that clone army. So what we're going to do is talk about this figure as a whole, both the good points and there are bad points about Captain Rex here. We're going to go into a full breakdown. We're going to look at the packaging as a whole. We're going to look at the paint, the articulations, and the accessories, and conclude the video and final thoughts for you, the viewer. Should you purchase Captain Rex here from the Hascon 2017 early convention? Stay tuned, guys. We're going to go into a breakdown. Alright guys, we're in our breakdown segment looking at the Hascon preview figure in the Star Wars Black Series for Captain Rex. So the very first thing we always do is look at the packaging and presentation. So the packaging is really, really neat. This is a different sort of packaging that we normally don't get. This is actually a slipcase. The figure is inside, the slipcase goes right over the actual box itself. And I like the presentation, how this is actually packaged. It's different and it's very unique. Of course, at the top here in the middle we have Star Wars Black Series. You got a picture of Captain Rex right here. Now, the thing about this is if you turn it this way, the pistol and the gun sort of wrap to the other edge. You see me doing it here? It starts here and it wraps to this corner. So I like that effect. It's really, really neat. Over here you have the name, of course, Clone Captain Rex. You have the Rebel Imperial Army here. On this side, we actually have a write-up. If you want to pause it, you're more than welcome to. You can read all the information about the 501st Legion, how he was the actual leader of the 501st. Now on the back here, we have this weird symbol. I'm not entirely sure what these marks really mean. If you can let me know in the comment section, I'm not 100% sure what it really means. Now, one thing also, if you notice here, I'll try to kind of point to it. There's little tally marks here, which we'll talk about that further. It's kind of embossed off the actual packaging, so I like how that looks. It looks really, really cool. Now we take the slipcase off, the figure is presented within. Now all the gear over here in this tray is all attached in. It's linked into the actual packaging itself. There's little ties holding everything in place rather snugly. I like that presentation. The figure itself is held very similar as well. He's sort of vacuum formed in and held at the top here with ties. So all in all, I think the presentation is spot on. We'll come back to take the figure out and go into the breakdown further. So we have all 5 accessories out of packaging, again, for the HasbroCon early release Captain Rex figure. Now this figure is going to be really released, meaning a worldwide release to all retail stores in the first quarter of 2018. Now the items you see here, all 5 of them, I'm making the assumption that all of them will be released on the new figure in 2018. There are going to be some modifications happening to this helmet from what I've heard. A lot of people weren't really happy about it, which we'll talk about that in detail. So first item up is the actual Clone Trooper helmet. Rex's helmet looks really, really cool. It has this white tone to it like all Stormtrooper or Clone Trooper helmets would. There is some weathering on the sides and on the back of the actual helmet itself. It gives it a lot of pop. It looks very unique compared to all other clones. And of course, he can actually take his helmet off. I believe he's the only Clone Trooper in the 6-inch scale that can actually remove his helmet. Now, I may be wrong, but I think he's the only guy who can take his helmet off that's a Clone Trooper in a 6-inch scale. Of course, it is this white color. He has kind of blue accents, blue chevrons on the top. If you look over here, he has kind of tally marks for kills on both the left side and the right side. As you saw here, the rangefinder does articulate, go up and down, kind of a gray bar with a little black tip here. Now, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of people were upset about this bottom of the helmet itself. Rex's chin protrudes from the bottom of this helmet, and a lot of people have concerns about that. Me, I'm not too concerned as it is. I think it looks okay, but I know they're actually going to make adjustments to either the head or the actual helmet itself. Next we have the actual blaster rifle. The rifle looks okay. I'll put pictures of him holding all the gear so you can see what it looks like, different poses you can put him in with all the weapons. I think it looks okay. I wish there would have been a little bit more paint on this or dry brush. It's just flat black to me. I wish there was a little bit more color to it, but it is what it is. This is a very standard rifle that you see all clones or clone troopers come with. Next we have the actual blaster itself. This is what all clones or stormtroopers usually come with. You can put him into a double-handed grip pose, which I have pictures up of him doing this. There's a lot of different type of poses you can get with this gear. I think it looks standard. Again, no black, standard black color with no additional paint. I wish I had more paint on this, but again, it is what it is. And last but not least, you see his pistols. This is the predominant way I'm going to display this figure. This is kind of what he's known for in Star Wars, in the Clone Wars cartoon, and in Rebels. He wore these pistols a lot. I do like the way they look. They are identical. There's no difference between Pistol 1 and Pistol 2. They are the same. I wish I would have put more paint on it. Again, it is what it is. I do think they look nice, but it would have been nice to have more paint on these particular pistols. Alright guys, with the figure out of packaging, let's actually look at the paint and presentation with this figure. I like the head sculpt. People have actually complained about it, especially his chin. I think it looks pretty good. I really don't have any issues with it. If you look across here, he has this shoulder pauldron, which basically shows he has rank in the clone army. One of the big features of this figure is the amount of weathering and paint on it. You'll notice there's kind of brown speckles on the chest armor, on the shoulder here, on his arms, which he also has tally counts for kills. I don't know if you can see that, put it right here for you, as well as this arm as well. I think he's the only guy that actually has kill counts that are showcased on his person, so I think it looks really, really cool. He does have functioning holsters here on both hips, so you can store his weaponry, which I think is a nice touch as well. The whole figure itself is white with this blue accent and black trim. Going down, you have the actual side skirts here, which are cloth material, which are black with this blue trim around the edge. I think it gives the figure a lot of pop, so I like how it looks there. I think it looks really, really good. He's basically, if you think about it, he's a clone trooper just spoofed up. He shows a lot of wear and tear and grit, so it looks like he's been in the field a long time. So with that being said, let's actually go into articulation. The head itself can spin complete 360. The right arm, which would be the left arm for you, can go all the way around, go out to a T, double jointed elbow, 360 on the wrist. The left arm, however, can go to about here, and you're going to get a little hindrance because of the shoulder pauldron. If you keep pushing it, you probably could clear the shoulder. I don't want to force it too much. This arm is also double jointed if you were curious, and this does have full wrist swivel. The actual, if you put his arms out to a T, you can spin his torso 360 degrees. As I said, he has weathering here. The actual belt he has is more of a rubbery material. The holsters on both sides have like a rubbery feel as well. I would be concerned that this would just deteriorate over time, but it's pretty strong rubber for what I'm feeling here. I don't think it's going to break unless you know, if you're playing with the figure a lot, it might run into issues down the road. Again, these are soft goods materials on the skirt. You have this black, like I said, black trim with the blue outline. Now the legs are a little questionable to me here. If you play with the figure a little bit and break the figure in, you will be able to get the legs up. I was having a lot of difficulty getting the legs to this position, this amount of range of motion. But if you keep moving the legs, you will get it past this point. Before I was having issues getting the leg to about this far. You got to push the leg really, really far to get him into this particular pose. He does have a double jointed knee, which I was really, really curious, thinking of why would you have this limited articulation in this joint here if you give him double jointed knees here. I really didn't understand that. Now his foot has a rocker on left and right and up and down movement. And one thing I did notice and want to point out to you guys is he has peg holes here in his feet. Maybe for a display base, if you wanted to pose him in a certain way, you can as well. So I think this figure looks great as a whole. Now, one thing I want to make an address here is his helmet. If you put the helmet on the actual figure's head, it fits rather snugly. But if you notice, his chin is sticking out from underneath the helmet right here. This is an issue a lot of people are running into and they have a lot of concerns about. Me personally, I don't think that's a real big concern. One thing to point out, he has ammo packs here that are dangling down, which are not removable. This is stuck in position. But going back to the helmet, I don't really have a problem or issue with it. It does come off and on rather easy, but I don't have a real big problem with it. I think it adds a lot of character to the actual figure itself where the chin sticks out. I love the way this looks. I think it looks really, really great as a whole. So with that being said, guys, let's actually go into final thoughts and wrap up this video. Okay guys, final thoughts on the Hascon 2017 preview release figure of Captain Rex from the Black Series in a 6-inch scale. I love this figure. This figure is really cool. We get a clone commander with a removable helmet. He has a cool pauldron, a lot of paint, a lot of tooling, a lot of detail, a decent amount of weaponry, and he has a lot of scuff on the armor. It doesn't look pristine. It doesn't look like he walked right off the ramp from the clone facility. He looks like someone who's been in the field, and it shows it. You can tell by looking at this guy. I love the weathering. I think it looks really cool. It gives the figure a lot of pop. All the cool tally marks are all over the armor. Looks really, really cool. Now, one thing I forgot to mention in the breakdown segment is that his right hand here has a trigger finger on his hand. On the actual left figure, it is sculpted into more of a closed grip. I didn't mention that in the breakdown. I do apologize. Now, I do like how he has soft goods material. The cool little skirts that come off his actual leggings, I think looks really, really cool. Now, the bad parts of the figure, let's talk about those as well. He has that protruding chin, which I talked about. A lot of people were upset about it. I don't really have an issue with it. I think that stoic chin really gives him a lot of pizzazz and a lot of pop, and a lot of spunk. I think it looks really, really cool. Now, he is being re-sculpted from what I heard, new face scan technology, in the first quarter release of 2018. That's what I've heard. I don't know if that's true or not. That's what I've been hearing through the grapevine. Now, hopefully that new face sculpting will fix that chin issue. I don't know if it will or not, but again, to me, it's not that big of a deal. The other issue I was running into with this particular figure was that his legs, I couldn't get past this position. As you saw me do working the leg in the breakdown segment, I can get it past it to more of like a 45-degree angle. I was having a lot of problems with that originally when I originally shot this particular ending of the video. I had to reshoot it because I was able to get the leg to go much further. So you might run into an issue with the actual joint locking up. Just work the joint a little bit, it should fix the issue. Now, the big question you're asking yourself is, Rook, should I buy this figure, the preview release figure from Hascon? Now, I hate to say this, guys, and please understand why I'm telling you this. Don't buy the Hascon release of this figure. The reasoning is the price. The price shot up exponentially very, very fast in the first day. Now, it might teeter down later on, but I've seen this figure go for about $70 to $150 on eBay. Please, don't spend that type of money. Wait for the first quarter release when they have the redone face and hopefully fix the helmet issue. I'm hoping they have the same amount of accessories. I don't know if that's true or not. This packaging is unique to the Hascon release, but please save your money, hold it for the January or February release in 2018. But in my opinion, it's a very good figure for the price if you can get it for $24.95. Definitely like this video, guys. Click that subscribe button. If you go over here, you'll see my P.O. Box. If you want to send any Q&A, if you want to send any fan mail, I'd love to actually do it. And of course, you can come over here to click more windows, watch more of my content. Take care, guys. I'll see you next video, and bye-bye.